People constantly approach me as a theoretical physicist, asking when the cosmos will unveil its next breathtaking revelation.
Well, I was hooked.
My answer
I had
remains
to know
straightforward.
what was in
that
that
moment
book.
is happening
And
as we
can I
speak.
an equation, perhaps no more than
A
one
traveler
inch long,
from the
that
desolate
would allow
void
us to, quote,
separating faraway
read the
stars,
mind
formerly
of God.
designated as 3
Well, I was
Atlas.
I had
Races
to
through our
know
galactic
what
region
was in
had
that
extraordinary
book.
velocities.
And can I an
In July,
equation,
we
perhaps
first
no more than one
detected
inch
it as
long,
just a dim
that would
sparkle
allow
of
us to,
light,
quote,
almost
read the
invisible
mind
against
of
the
God.
stellar backdrop.
Well, I was hooked.
But now,
I had
what
to
appears
know
in our
what
instruments
was
has
in that
transformed
book.
into something
And can I an
genuinely
equation, perhaps
extraordinary.
no more than one
We're
inch long,
basically
that would
witnessing
allow
a
us to,
live
quote,
exhibition of
read the
cometary
mind
physics,
of God.
electromagnetic
Well, I
plasma
was hooked.
dynamics, and
I had to
truthfully,
know
a
what
serious
was in that
examination
book.
of humanity's
And
capacity
can I
to
an equation,
watch and
perhaps no more than
comprehend.
1 inch long,
Presently
that would allow us to,
located
quote,
under 2
read the
astronomical
mind
units from our
of
home
God.
star, this
Well, I was
Voyager rushes
I had to
onward at
know
roughly
what
60
was in
kilometers
that
per
book.
second
And
while
can I
continuously
an equation,
accelerating.
perhaps no more than 1 inch
During its
long,
closest
that would
solar
allow us
approach,
to, quote,
expected
read
between
the
October
mind
29th
of God.
and 31st,
Well, I was hooked.
speeds will reach
I
nearly
had to know
68
what
kilometers
was
per
in that
second.
book.
Attempt
And
to
can I
picture
an
this.
equation,
An
perhaps no more than
interstellar
1 inch
wanderer
long, that
expelled
would
from an
allow us to,
alien
quote,
star system now
read the
diving
mind
directly
of
toward the
God.
intense radiation
Well, I was
field
hooked.
surrounding our
I
sun
had
at
to
peak
know
velocity.
what was in
The
that
coming
book.
days
And
constitute
can I
an
an equation,
absolutely
perhaps no more than
critical
1 inch
viewing
long,
window.
that would allow us to,
October
quote,
3rd brought the
read
instance
the
when 3I
mind
Atlas
of
passed
God.
nearest to the crimson
Well, I was
planet.
hooked. I
Coming
had to
within
know
roughly one
what
quarter
was
of
in
an
that book.
Earth-Sun separation
And can
from
I
Mars.
an equation, perhaps no
This
more than 1
spatial
inch long, that
configuration
would allow us
generates
to, quote,
remarkably favorable
read the mind
circumstances
of
for
God.
all robotic
Well, I was
spacecraft
hooked.
presently
I had to
orbiting
know
Mars to
what
collect
was in that
unparalleled
book.
information.
And can I an equation,
Consider it
perhaps no more than 1 inch
astronomical
long,
luck.
that would
Precisely
allow us
when
to,
Earth's
quote,
observatories
read the
lose sight
mind
because of
of God.
overwhelming solar glare,
Well, I was hooked.
Mars
I
emerges,
had to know
providing
what was in
superior
that book.
observation
And
opportunities.
can I an
Europe's
equation,
space
perhaps no more
program
than 1 inch
has
long,
2
that
observers
would allow us to,
prepared.
quote,
Mars Express
read the
together with the
mind
ExoMars
of God.
Trace Gas Orbiter,
Well, I was hooked.
both equipped to
I
gather
had to
visual
know
documentation
what was in that
and
book.
molecular signature
And can I
readings.
an equation, perhaps
America's
no more than 1 inch
orbital
long,
watchdogs,
that
the
would
Mars
allow us to,
Reconnaissance
quote,
Orbiter,
read
featuring
the
an
mind
impressive
of
high-resolution imager,
Well, I was
along
hooked.
with the
I
Maven
had to know
atmospheric analyzer,
what was in that
possess
book.
equally
And can I
advantageous
an equation,
placement.
perhaps no more than 1
Although
inch long,
specific
that
data
would allow us
channels
to,
have
quote,
become curiously
read the
silent
mind
amid
of
America's
God.
governmental budget
Well, I was hooked.
crisis,
I had to
Chinese and
know
Emirates
what was
spacecraft
in that book.
Tianwen-1
And can
and
I
Hope
an equation,
correspondingly
perhaps no more than
could
1 inch
deliver
long,
important
that would allow us to,
verification
quote,
measurements if
read the
operators
mind
managed to
of
rotate
God.
their instruments
Well, I was
quickly
hooked.
enough.
I had to know what was in
Scientific
that
reliability
book.
requires
And
such
can I
concurrent
an
monitoring.
equation,
It
perhaps no more than 1
distinguishes
inch long,
speculation from
that would
authentic
allow us to,
findings.
quote,
What
read
exactly
the
are these
mind
devices
of
recording?
God.
Start with
Well, I was
brightness
hooked.
readings.
I had to know
Here,
what was in
Atlas
that
has already
book.
risen to
And
magnitude
can I
12
an
on
equation,
luminosity
perhaps
charts.
no more than 1 inch long,
Here,
that would allow us
still
to,
hidden
quote,
from naked
read
eyes,
the
certainly,
mind
but easily
of God.
detected using
Well, I
amateur
was hooked.
telescopes with
I
decent
had to know
specifications.
what was in that book.
Much more
And
intriguing
can I
is how this
equation, perhaps
brightness
no more than
increased
1 inch
departed
long,
from our
that would allow
computational
us to, quote,
predictions beginning
read
near
the
early
mind
September.
of God.
Precisely
Well, I was
when
hooked.
the object
I
crossed
had
the
to
2
know what
astronomical
was
unit
in that
boundary
book.
from
And
solar
can I
position,
an equation,
meaning
perhaps
it's
no more than 1
radiating
inch
far
long,
more
that would
powerfully
allow
than
us
we
to, quote,
predicted it would.
read the mind
Admittedly,
of God.
some aspects of this
Well, I was
discrepancy
hooked.
probably
I
stem
had
from
to know
observational
what
factors.
was in that
How
book.
various watches
And can
record
I
and
an
analyze
equation,
light
perhaps
from
no
a
more
growing
than 1
gas
inch long,
sphere
that would
differs
allow us to,
according to
quote,
telescope,
read the
aperture,
mind
and
of God.
computational techniques.
Well, I was hooked.
Joe?
I had
October
to know
2nd
what
brought
was in
something
that
remarkable
book.
from
And can I
Perseverance's
an
imaging
equation,
systems
perhaps no
while
more than 1 inch
conducting
long,
nighttime
that would
photography
allow us to,
sessions
quote,
lasting
read the
approximately
mind
9 minutes
of God.
using combined exposures.
Well, I was hooked.
The rover
I had to
detected
know
a thin
what
diagonal
was
line
in that book.
cutting across the
And can I
perpendicular
an
star
equation,
streaks
perhaps no more than
created
1
by
inch long,
Mars's
that would
spin.
allow us to,
Created
quote,
by Mars's
read the
spin. This
mind
line stayed
of
apparent
God.
through several sequential
Well, I was
images.
hooked.
showing an
had to
extended
know
form
what
consistent
was
with
in
fast
that book.
interplanetary
And
travel
can I
during
an
single
equation,
exposure.
perhaps no more than 1 inch
Arbitrary
long,
cosmic
that would
particle
allow us to,
impacts
quote,
don't produce this
read
effect,
the mind
nor do
of
Mars's
God.
moons traveling
Well, I
at
was
those
hooked.
specific speeds
I had to know
and
what
directional
was in that
paths.
book. And can I an equation,
The exact
perhaps no more than
schedule
1
and
inch
movement
long,
vector
that would allow
correspond
us to, quote,
impressively with projections for a
mind
rapid
of
interplanetary visitor.
Well, I was hooked.
Might this
I had to
genuinely be
know
3
what
Atlas
was in
streaking
that book.
across Perseverance's
And can I
observation
an
zone?
equation, perhaps no
The
more than
picture
1 inch
clarity
long,
stays
that
limited,
would allow us to,
definitely, but the
read the
research
mind
consequences
of God.
are exciting.
Well, I was hooked.
This
I had to
demonstrates
know
how real
what
breakthroughs
was in
develop,
that book.
each evidence
And
fragment
can I an
demanding
equation,
separate
perhaps no more
verification.
than 1 inch long,
Now we should
that would
address
allow
certain
us to,
trajectory
quote,
calculation
read the
difficulties.
mind of
October
God.
21st
Well, I was
delivers
hooked. I
superior
had to know
conjunction.
what was in that book.
Wow.
And
Imagine
can
our
I
sun
an
station
equation,
precisely
perhaps no more
between
than 1
3
inch long,
Atlas
that
and
would
Earth,
allow us to,
forming
quote,
almost flawless
read the
alignment.
mind of
From our
God.
planetary
Well, I was
perspective,
hooked.
we
I
experience
had
a
to
blackout
know
interval.
what was in that
Earth-based
book.
instruments
And
get
can I
entirely
an
swamped by
equation,
solar
perhaps no more than
radiance.
1 inch long,
Here's the
that would
gorgeous
allow us to,
paradox
quote,
of modern
read
space
the
science.
mind of God.
We maintain the technology
hooked.
to image the
I had
darkness
to know
surrounding a
what
gigantic
was in
black
that
hole
book.
countless
And
light
can
years
I an
away.
equation, perhaps no
However,
more than 1
a
inch long,
basic stone
that would allow
fragment
us
near
to,
Mars
quote,
becomes totally
read the
invisible
mind
when it moves
of God.
too near our sun's
Well, I was
visible
hooked.
location
I
in
had
Earth's
to know
sky.
what was in that
This
book.
clarifies why
And
the
can I
Mars
an
viewing
equation,
opportunity
perhaps no more
holds
than
such
1 inch
incredible
long,
significance.
that would allow us to,
Right
quote,
after conjunction
read the
comes the
mind
dramatic peak.
of God.
Perihelion
Well, I was
happens between
I had
October
to know
29th
what
and
was
31st
in that book.
at roughly
And can I an equation,
0.36
perhaps no more than 1 inch
astronomical
long,
units
that would
from
allow
the
us to,
sun's
quote,
core. If
read
3i
the mind
Atlas plans
of
to
God.
perform a spectacular
Well, I was
finale,
I
through
had to know
explosive additional
what
gas
was in that
eruptions,
book.
physical
And can I
disintegration,
an equation, perhaps no
unexpected
more than 1
brightness
inch long,
spikes,
that
or
would allow us
surprising
to, quote,
fading, basic
read the
physics will
mind
demand those
of
changes
God.
occur during this
Well, I was
encounter.
hooked.
During
I had
this
to know
encounter.
what was
Following
in that book.
Perihelion, the European
And
Space
can I an
Agency's
equation,
JUICE mission
perhaps no
will
more than 1
begin
inch
a
long,
prolonged
that would
tracking
allow us to,
campaign
quote,
from farther
read the
inside the
mind
inner
of
planets.
God.
The
Well, I was
spatial
hooked.
arrangement looks
I had
promising.
to know what
The
was
delay
in that
period
book.
appears less
And can I
convenient
an
because of
equation,
technical
perhaps no more
limitations
than 1 inch
regarding
long,
signal
that would
transmission
allow us
viewing
to, quote,
angles. Some
read
of
the
these
mind
observations
of
may not
God.
become publicly
Well, I was
available
I
before
had
early
to know
2026.
what was in that book.
Research exploration
And can I an
occasionally mirrors a
equation, perhaps no more
marathon
than 1
race.
inch long,
Hence,
that would
we
allow
hand
us
off
to, quote,
responsibilities
read
over
the
months or
mind
potentially
of God.
years when scientific
Well, I was hooked.
precision requires
I had to know
perseverance.
what
Allow
was
me
in
to
that book.
expand toward the
And
larger
can I
context.
an equation,
During
perhaps
fewer
no
than
more than
10
1
years,
inch long,
our
that would allow
civilization
us to,
has
quote,
already detected
read
3
the mind
verified
of God.
interstellar objects.
Well, I was hooked. I had to
Oumuamua
know
came initially,
what was in
then
that
Borisov,
book.
and currently
can I
3
an equation,
Atlas.
perhaps no more
Everyone
than 1 inch
challenges
long,
separate
that
standard
would allow us to,
assumptions.
quote, read
At this
the
exact
mind
second,
of God.
3
Well, I was
Atlas
hooked.
acts as our
I had to
instructor,
know what
exhibiting how
was in
solid
that book.
interstellar
And
substances
can I an
respond to
equation,
powerful
perhaps no
solar
more than 1
energy
inch
while
long,
moving at
that would allow
tremendous
us to,
speeds,
quote,
displaying
read
how
the
dust
mind
grains
of
and
God.
charged particles arrange
Well, I was
themselves
hooked.
into
I
formations
had to know
stretching sunward,
what was
and
in that
demonstrating
book.
how atmospheric
And can I
molecule
an
reactions
equation,
can
perhaps no
trigger
more than 1 inch
immediately
long,
like
that would allow
activating a
us to,
mechanical
quote,
device.
read the mind
That
of
diagonal
God.
mark recorded by
Well, I was hooked.
perseverance
I had
provides
to know
fascinating
what
hints
was in that
about
book.
the raw mechanical
And can I
energies
an equation,
involved.
perhaps no more than 1 inch
Chemical
long,
analysis
that would
from
allow
Mars
us to,
Express
quote,
and the
read the
trace gas
mind
orbiter
of God.
will interpret that
Well, I was
puzzling
hooked.
green
I
luminescence.
had to know
Are we
what was
observing
in that
traditional
book.
swan band
And
carbon
can I an
molecule
equation,
radiation?
perhaps no more than
Or
1 inch
have we
long,
found a
that would
deceptive
allow
effect
us to,
produced
quote,
by plasma
read
reactions
the mind
and
of
light-driven
God.
decomposition?
Well, I was hooked.
The
I had
brightness
to know
evolution will
what was
indicate
in that
whether
book.
this luminosity
And
jump
can I an
constitutes a
equation,
brief
perhaps no more than
explosion
1 inch
or
long,
continuous
that would allow us to,
amplification
quote,
proceeding toward
read the
nearest solar
mind
passage.
of God.
And underneath
Well, I
this
was hooked.
entire
I had
analytical
to know
investigation
what was in
rests
that
a
book.
subtly
And
meaningful
can I an
truth.
equation, perhaps
Not
no more
our
than 1 inch
race,
long,
basically
that would
tiny
allow us to,
residents
quote,
of a delicate
read
blue
the
world,
mind
has
of God.
assembled a monitoring system
was hooked.
circling a
I
completely
had to
separate
know
planet,
what was in
enabling
that
us
book.
during several
And
precious
can I
days
an equation,
to track a
perhaps no more than
messenger
1
from
inch long,
outside our
that would
star's
allow us to,
influence
quote,
while it roars
read the
through our
mind
galactic
of God.
vicinity.
Well, I
Throughout
was
my
hooked.
youth,
I
I learned
had to
about
know
comets
what
presented
was
as
in
heavenly
that book.
omens and mystical
And
signals.
can I an equation,
Now I
perhaps no more
understand
than
them
1
as
inch long,
traveling research
that would allow us to,
laboratories.
quote,
Three-eye
read the
atlas might
mind
never
of
produce a
God.
magnificent
Well, I was
display,
hooked. I
controlling
had to
evening
know
horizons.
what was in that book.
However,
And
inside
can I
the
an
measurements it
equation,
produces,
perhaps no more than 1
inside
inch
the
long,
chemical
that would
fingerprints,
allow us
the
to,
combined
quote,
visual
read
records,
the
the
mind
structural
of
arrangement
God.
of its solar-facing
Well, I was
tail,
hooked.
there lives
I had to
something
know
infinitely
what
more
was in
lasting
that book.
than primitive
And
mythology,
can I an equation, perhaps no more than 1 inch long,
comprehension.
that would allow us to,
And
quote,
if you desire
read the
understanding
mind
about how
of
research
God.
genuinely
Well, I
advances,
was hooked.
watch
I
this
had
inquiry
to know
attentively.
what was in that
Development
book.
doesn't come
And
from bold
can I an
announcements,
equation,
but from
perhaps no more than
hesitant
1 inch
charts
long, that
decorated
would
with
allow us to,
careful
quote,
error
read the
calculations.
mind of God.
Advancement doesn't
Well, I was
emerge
hooked.
from complete
I had
confidence,
to know
but from the
what
mental
was
courage
in
to
that
accept
book.
surprising
And
revelations.
can I an
During
equation,
upcoming
perhaps no more
weeks,
than 1 inch long,
Three-Eye
that
Atlas
would
will
allow us
pass
to,
beyond
quote,
our sun from
read the
terrestrial
mind
viewpoints.
of God.
Briefly,
Well, I was hooked.
it vanishes
I had
from
to know
observation.
what was in that
Subsequently,
book. And
around
can I
December,
an
it
equation,
returns
perhaps
to our
no more than
visible
1 inch
heavens,
long,
completely
that would allow
altered
us
by
to,
its
quote,
dangerous journey
read the
across the
mind
solar
of
furnace.
God.
We'll take
Well, I
new
was hooked.
readings.
I
We'll
had to
create
know
detailed
what was
comparisons
in
between
that book.
conditions,
And can I
missions,
an equation,
and eventually,
perhaps no more
maybe
than 1 inch
earlier
long,
than we expect,
that would allow us
a
to,
graduate
quote,
researcher will
read the
compose a
mind
study
of
starting
God.
with these phrases.
Well, I was hooked.
We learned
I
something
had to
essential
know
regarding
what was in
interstellar
that book.
objects by
And
examining
can I an
three
equation,
eye
perhaps
atlas.
no more than 1 inch long,
That document
that would
will
allow
cite
us
the
to,
Mars
quote,
viewing effort,
read the
the
mind
African
of
telescope
God.
photograph collection,
Well, I was
the
hooked.
Perseverance
I had to
diagonal
know
marking,
what
the
was in that
luminosity
book.
pattern
And
surprised
can
near
I
two
an
astronomical
equation, perhaps
units,
no more than 1
the
inch
green
long, that
atmospheric
would allow
shell,
us to,
the
quote,
reverse tail
read the
formation,
mind
the
of
solar
God.
approach characteristics.
Well, I was hooked. I had
It will
to
add
know
one more
what
chapter
was
to our
in that
universal
book.
library.
And can I an equation, perhaps no more than 1 inch long, that would allow us
Before
to,
that
quote,
time comes, stay
read the
patient,
mind
keep reasonable
of
doubt,
God.
cultivate
Well, I
endless
was hooked.
wonder. The
I had
cosmos
to
holds
know
no requirement
what
for
was in that book.
straightforwardness.
And
Luckily,
can I
it stays
an
committed to
equation, perhaps no
regularity.
more than 1
Science
inch
builds
long,
its base.
that would allow us to,
Our
quote,
mechanical
read
sensors
the
and our
mind
mental
of
creativity
God.
remain prepared,
Well, I was hooked.
paying close
I had to
attention.
know what